What's going on, workforce? Brian here.
Chris here.
And today we're exploring something that we have not had the opportunity to explore in the world of 14. In fact, this should not be a spoiler video, but if you haven't finished the first, I guess, 20 levels of the game's story, you might want to come back and check this video out later. Namely, because Chris, if you guys didn't know, has been revoicing a Realm Revoiced ARR, and he has plans to do the whole thing. Chris, tell people about the project and what we're talking about today.
So I only have the first two episodes published. I'm filmed like 30 episodes into the future, so it's gonna be a long series. And basically, it's just like it's the project that if it had existed, I feel would have kept me from being here in the first place. And it's not a let's play, because those exist and those are very well done. It's not somebody streaming it, because those exist and those are well done. It's not a summary, because those exist and those are well done. It's a TV show style, 15 to 22 minutes, not just the cutscenes, because that exists. You can just go see that in game, but all that in between stuff as well. And in a format that you don't have to just sit and read. I'm actually right now still struggling with the conundrum of the first time we see an Ascian speak, not the first time ever, but there is an early time, they speak another language and it puts subtitles up for you. And I'm trying to debate, do I dub the subtitles? Because the project is so that you could look away and not miss anything. And the game, it is a voiced cutscene in a language that I don't understand. What do you do? Do you dub over the voice?
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to figuring out how you decide to answer your own conundrum here. So the core of this, though, is you called me, and we ended up having a very deep, dark discussion about the darkness, the moral ambiguity, what are we doing? Like, why did we murder those people? And you've also...
I don't like the game less. It is a deeper love for the game.
Yeah.
But these people are awful.
And yeah, go ahead.
And
please.
Our character ethically at every stage, no spoiler here, will go, like there's only one MSQ. There is no player agency. You know what comes after this quest? The next quest. There isn't choice. So if something awful is going to happen, you're kind of forced to condone it. I mean, you'll get some dialogue choices, but like, it's gonna happen.
So last night on game night, I wanted you to tell the story of the Giants, because this is you were like, what in the world is happening? We have done horrible things to the Giants, and you're having a hard time kind of reconciling that.
I'm further than this, and like, not all dungeons are this bad. This is the dungeon that, like, when I think of like what dungeon will have conflict around it, people have kind of filled me in on some of the lore around dungeons over the years, and I'm like, oh, that's awful. Nobody ever said anything about Copperbell Mine.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, did you know in this one dungeon, if you go over and you talk to this one NPC in a back room, that there's this thing going on and it implies something awful? No. This is straight up MSQ, and this is like level 20. So this isn't like in the future where like Shadowbringers and stuff, there is like actual moral dilemmas, and they're presented as moral dilemmas, and we have to deal with that. No, this is level 20, and the story's like, I'm a one-note story, and this is going to be great. There's nothing to hate here. And the story is straight up, all right, so a long time ago, there were some people, and they were mining. And you know what would make them better at mining? Giants. And giants, rather than like trying to seek out some sort of employment or treaty or something like that, we can just put like mind control helmets on them, and we can use magic to turn them into slaves. And slaves are good. They work for free, and they just love it. They just have no choice, and it's great. And then the magic wore off, and it turns out the giants were like, hey, that wasn't cool. And the Ul'dah, the citizens of Ul'dah, are like, what do you mean it wasn't cool? We loved that you worked for free and did our beck and call for no reason. Now that you don't want to work for nothing and only listen to us, why don't we just bury you in the cave? All right. Old Ul'dah sounds awful, but that's okay. It's going to be better now. So 300 years go by, nothing we can do about it. We made mistakes. Those people are long dead. Let's just be better people. Economy's going great. We need some materials. Old mine, still open. Let's go down there and mine. And then we mine too deep. And the giants are down there. And rather than asking ourselves, oh God, we've left them down there for 300 years. They probably need like food and water and sunlight. We immediately go, that's going to be a problem for profits. So what if we hired an adventurer to go down there and kill them? Not let's let them out. And you show up and the guards are like, don't worry, we haven't let them see sunlight. Good luck down there, bro. That's the plan. And then you run into the dungeon with no dialogue through the dungeon and you kill them. Why? This is awful. Like everything about this is awful. And the whole time your character's like, and they're like, I hear you're reliable. I hear you're a guy that can get things done.
That I am. Point me at who you need murdered. I'm the warrior of light of Heidelin.
Like, there's so many ethical lines getting crossed, and many of them are for no reason. Like, this got written into the game. This is the Wonder Woman 1984 body snatching conundrum. But it didn't need to be there. It wasn't like, well, you know, it's a common known MMO fact. If you have a mine, there have to be enslaved giants inside. Like, you're allowed to just have a mine. Like, you're allowed to have people in there that have done awful things and that we don't like. You don't have to have people down there that I'm sympathetic for that you're going to make me kill.
I'm loving it. I'm loving your reaction. What's fascinating for me is how you've actually kind of approached the whole game, because there was so much that you know that's in your head, having played through Shadowbringers, having had that experience.
Times,
Right, you've done it millions of times. There's been no problem, no conflict. Now I
killed so many giants.
Yeah, I know. Like, I've lost track of how many giants I've murdered.
Who can keep track?
Who can keep track? But
there's a character somewhere along the story that says that about a group of people. They go, that group of people over there, you're going to have to kill a few. I can't even keep track of how many I've killed.
To me,
we don't address that either.
Yeah. To me, it shows just how, like, the story evolves, right? So, like, when you get into the later parts of the game, and this isn't really spoilery, you learn that the Garlean Empire calls everybody, they call you a beast tribe. It's all about dehumanization, depersonalization, so that, you know, that you can justify your actions. And at the time, I remember playing it through, and it's like, oh yeah, like, there's these giants, and they're stopping progress. They're down there just being all jerky and whatnot. Well, of course, like, okay, you know, I need some experience. Let's go. But then you discover
big progress. That's the nicest way to describe everything that happened. They're in my way.
They're slowing down progress, guys. You don't get in front of the progress.
There were kids
train.
playing in the street, and I just realized this is going to make my commute slower. Like, this is so bad. Like, it's not okay.
No, it's not. But it's so interesting because you're experiencing it, having the knowledge and of, you know, your character and who they are in relation to this kind of bigger story overall, right? And so overall, like, you're looking at the just corruption of Ul'dah, of the Syndicate, profit over people, and being a kind of, in this case, like a willing participant of it. But you, in this case, now are knowing what's to come, having that foresight of how this story evolves and the things that we learn and how we grow, but then having to go back and repeat that sight unseen and not being able to affect it in a different way. It was just so curiously interesting to watch you work your way through that mentally in and of itself. So
just know that I've started taking WoW lore more seriously, because I'm like, well, I enjoyed Shadowbringers so much. I should start investing in 14 lore, and I should start investing in WoW lore. And then they come out with Shadowlands, which is meant to be this, like, callback to all these previous expansions. And so now when I go through on some of my other characters, I'm like doing the quests in zones, and I'm starting to get invested. And they're like, hey, we were mistreating our employees, and they started having a meeting in this hut. It's really stopping progress. Go break up the meeting. And sometimes these quests end in things like a current seasonal event going on where they say, while you're there, do some minor Final Fantasy VII eco-terrorism and kill 12 employees. Your combat log will track 0 of 12 employees killed. I don't want to do any of this. Like, I liked these games were so much easier morally when I was just playing the game. Kill 12 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Done. I'm done. Turn it in. I got money. I got loot. We're good. And now it's like, but I don't want to kill them. Like, are there other options?
It's difficult to say like how that would evolve in a multiplayer online game, because in a single player game, we've seen that with D&D. Like, you could, I mean, D&D has a multiplayer aspect, but like in a game that it's like, yeah, like you want to go that direction, cool. You want to align with the giants. You want to turn around and say, back to the syndicate and say, nope. But that would be very difficult to be pulled off.
You're going to pay us for these minerals, and you're going to settle us in this adjacent area that is way nicer.
Well, especially as it relates to things that are happening current in the story itself. We're not going to go into it in case you guys haven't made it there, but it's interesting to see some of these items start to come back and be addressed by certain city-states, in hopefully maybe a positive and interesting way overall. Like, it's really cool. I really like you're having a different experience with ARR and how it unfolded, not just at its core, but also the questions and the content that it asks, because you didn't experience that the first time through. You were just a giant killing machine, and now you've self-actualized, and and you're feeling a little guilt. You're feeling a little bit bad
I
for
am.
it.
I will tell you that if Shadowbringers has anything doing anything with anything through ARR, it's really interesting to go do those quests that sometimes feel like they were throwaway quests and going, but you're going to come back later. So like, it is nice. Like, there is something nice about playing it as a prequel in that, like, when I meet somebody for the first time, I already get to decide if they're important. Like, it's like, I don't care. Like, how I know you're not important? Because you're not around in 3 expansions. Like, maybe I'm gonna feel real bad about saying that because they're gonna die or something. Because I don't know if anybody dies, but like, I know there's also some characters that, like, when we meet them, like, I would be so creepy in person. Like, you go into the future and you meet your wife, and then you come back and like you're like, I really like you. Like, so you meet some of these characters and you're like, I'm hanging on your every word, and like they're like, we're just friends, man.
Yeah.
But we're not, though. No, we're so much closer than friends.
Like, we've been through hell. We've been to hell and back.
Can we hug? It's definitely different going back and doing ARR, knowing who will be with us in the future and who it's like, you must not be that important because I've never heard of your name.
Yeah. That's just too funny. That's too good. Now, I would say for y'all watching the show, like, is there any moment within the 14 story that just kind of caught you off guard, made you question like who we are in relation to the world or the characters and things like that? For Chris, it was Copperbell. And that was just really interesting. And he's also
probably the first of many.
Yeah, probably the first of many.
Because I don't like some of the stuff in Shadowbringers. So if I don't like stuff in the first expansion, and I don't like some of the stuff in the most recent expansion, let's assume the middle stuff's going to have some areas.
Well, I'm looking forward to when you get into Heavensward, because there's so many like interesting things that you've already somewhat commented on, especially with the rebuilding of Ishgard, that I can't wait to see what that looks like, how you feel about that with Iceheart and all that. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. So questions to you guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Chris, you got any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No.
All right, guys. For Work to Game, my name's Brian.
My name's Chris.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you have a fantastic one. But until then,
take care.